Tune in and tune up. And today I am outside and I am across the creek. Some of you have seen my garden on Facebook, and we're very blessed to have a beautiful garden, and we're on a creek. And I thought today that I was going to broadcast from my neighbor's garden. My neighbor is Claire, and I just heard that Claire passed away. She was 95 and she had the most incredible garden. So we're going to take a little walk through Claire's garden just to give you an idea of how beautiful it was. Claire was an artist, a well-known artist here in British Columbia, and especially in our community here on the North Shore of Vancouver. And she also loved gardening, loved her garden. And in fact, last year, just around this time, she was a part of the Art in the Garden tour that the Arts Council does every year. And she had an absolutely beautiful setup here in her garden with music and her artwork in various places. And so I'm so glad that I was able to attend that and speak to Claire for a little bit. And so I'll just give you a look at Claire's garden here. I'm going to turn this around because that gives you a better view. So I'm just coming down the walkway, and you see back there behind all of the rhododendrons that are blooming is a little cottage. She has a charming little cottage that she lived in for many years. It's one of the original cottages here in West Vancouver, which actually started out as a cottage community. It's across the Burrard Inlet from Vancouver, and so it used to be just accessible by boat many years ago, before they built the Lions Gate Bridge in the 1930s. And so this was cottage country. And from what I understand, this cottage belonged to Claire's mother. And so Claire then moved in, and she lived here most of her life and had an art studio there. They had a celebration of life on the weekend for Claire, and I see some of the tables and chairs are still set up here. And she has pathways, little hidden pathways everywhere around her garden. It's just the most magical place. And this little, meditation bench here. This goes across, there's the creek down there. It's right by the waterfall here. And that goes across to our house. You can see the gray house across the creek a little bit more through the trees there. So she had all of these beautiful little places to meditate and to enjoy and walk. Big, beautiful cedar tree here. And another little meditation spot. And we just follow the pathway here. The rhododendrons are in full bloom now. And you see all of the bluebells, forget-me-nots, and so on that are growing wild here. She had a combination of cultivated and wild in her garden. And it is just beautiful. And here we're coming into another little clearing where there's some potted plants and some other little beautiful things. This is a bird nest there that looks like it was handmade, and of course all of her gorgeous blooming rhodos. It's just an absolutely magical place. And here we come to the little cottage. It's the most charming little cottage. Another little landing place there for coffee or tea. And the beautiful rhodos. A huge white rhododendron there. And the garden continues. Last summer you see all her stained glass in the window. She was a stained glass artist, among other things. And down another path here. And then going into an area at the back where she used to grow some veggies and things, because I was given veggies. You still see her paint brushes in the window there and some of the paintings leaning up. That's her studio. I'll pull back here a little bit. Whoops. Pull back here a little bit. Very charming. This cottage was built at the turn of the 20th century, so it's well over 100 years old. And some of the bluebells still blooming here. The back part of her studio with all of her paintings there. I'm sure they were there for her family, for people to view at the celebration of life. And so I thought what I would do today is, do a soul song. Across the creek to our place over there, my house. And I thought I would do a soul song from the garden for Claire, from her plants. There's a beautiful white lilac. The lilacs are in bloom here now too. And connect to the soul of her incredible garden here. And do a soul song from the garden. So Claire, if you're listening, this is a song to you from your beloved garden. Thank you, Claire, for all the beauty that you brought, and may your journey be blessed.